is going on, guys? It is Tova back again with another astrology update. I want to preface this video with a couple of things about my content creation process, just so everybody is aware. I have a full-time job. I work 40 plus hours a week every week. So it's been exceedingly difficult for me to find time to be able to make content. However, this is something that I really believe in doing. This is something that I really want to do. So I'm taking time out of my free time outside of my job to be able to do this job. I guess I'm saying that because I have not met my content creation goals for myself in the past couple of weeks. I was hoping that I was going to have time to create more stuff. But basically what I've been doing is posting a ton on my Instagram. So check the description for my Instagram and go to that if you see this. Because the vast majority of the activity from me under this name and life and way of being is going to be over there. Additionally, last week, an idea came to me. I think it was last week. I don't know. The weeks are all melding together at this point. Things are getting crazy. But I got an idea for an oracle card deck, and I think it was last week. No, the week before. Sorry, I'm all freaking jumbled up. But I came up with this idea for this deck. It's called Journey of the Wolf. It's something that I literally wrote the entire guidebook in 1 week. It's like it came to me from God or something. So I wrote the guidebook and I printed it at work. I printed this guidebook off at work and just on some work paper or whatever, and I created a little bit of graphic design for the front and the back of the guidebook, and I just printed it off to the size that I wanted, which was 3x5 or something like that, and I stapled it together. And I went and tested my prototype deck, which I just wrote all the card names, 52 cards. I wrote all the names down on some index cards, and I just took them to this free divination share event that I go to every month. And I didn't use any other card decks while I was there because I just wanted to test that one. And the reception that I got from it was way better than what I was expecting. Everybody was like, wow, this is written so well. Wow, this is so cool. Wow, what a great system. So now I feel really motivated to actually work on that. So instead of doing my podcast this past week, which I don't even know if anyone is listening to that, but I keep struggling with what to come up with to talk about. I thought that my first couple of weeks were pretty good, but then I was I'm overwhelmed. So I think that what I did when I came back to the internet was I made myself too big of a list of content that I wanted to create and too many ideas, and then I realized, this is too many things. What do I do? So, some things might be here and there, I might not have a podcast every week, whatever. I'm kind of just throwing everything that I can do at the wall to see if it sticks at this point. So that's pretty much the situation with that. So I just wanted to start this video off rambling on about that a little bit because I truthfully don't know if anybody cares. Which it doesn't matter if anybody cares because really I'm doing this for me. So if you're watching this and you're getting something out of it, awesome. But that's not that me doing this does not ride on the level of popularity that any of this has. I'm just doing it because I feel like I want to do this more for a living than I want to do what I'm currently doing for a living. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that I have to make this into my career. I'm just saying that as a long-term vocation, I would prefer to be doing things in this realm of knowledge. So I want to try to become an authority on these sorts of things because I think I have a unique perspective that can help a lot of people who are kind of going over the same ground that I've already walked. You know what I mean? That's that Chiron midheaven conjunction in my chart. Speaking of Chiron, why don't we look at this here chart? I don't have my face up because guess what? I worked all week, and today I'm tired, and I've been working on art for my deck, and I'm looking busted, so you guys don't now have to look at my face. But what I did is I put a little bit of branding on the background, so you got something to look at. So there's that, at least. You got something to look at. We got the Sabian symbol image up there, and we're going to talk about that in a second. And we got the chart, and it, there's some graphics. So fantastic. So you can just take a look at me drawing on this thingy in Photoshop now and enjoy yourself. Okay. Let's talk about this chart. So if you have ever had an inkling in your mind about potentially maybe clicking on my Patreon and trying it out for free for 7 days, or paying $1.10 per month, that's including tax, you can see all of my beautifully written, way better than I can articulate with speech. You can read my wonderfully written new moon, full moon reports, and other blogs and other crap like that I put on my Patreon all the time. I'm not trying to shill, okay? I'm just trying to have some cool, exclusive things for people who really want to show some support. So if you've ever thought about checking that out, I implore you to do so, because sometimes I can't say things as well as I can write them. So just gonna throw that out there as well. So, all right, let's begin talking about the new moon. The new moon is right here at 14 degrees of Cancer. All right, that's it. Thank you guys so much. No, just kidding. Can you imagine if I just ended the video like that? How funny that would be. Whoo! I'm really screwing around with you YouTube guys, you YouTube viewers this time around, and you want to know why? It's because I only got 5 views on the last video that I posted, which contained a wealth of information that nobody watched or slapped a like on. So I'm giving you guys this 10 minutes of totally worthless content here at the beginning of this video, so I hope you're enjoying yourselves. That was me taking a sip of my coffee. Okay. I'll quit being mean to you now. All right. So here's the new moon. Here's Venus. I would say this is still within orb of conjunction. Basically what's going on is that whatever your Cancer area of life is during this time period, you may have been encountering some things going on where you're asking yourself the question, do I feel comfortable in this area of my life? For me, this is my 9th house. So do I feel comfortable with learning new things or expanding into different areas of understanding? What happened to me over this time period that it's been Cancer season is that, really since the Gemini new moon, which I did a video on, since then I have been not only working on this auxiliary outside of my day job, quote unquote business, but at work I have been tasked, for lack of a better word, with learning more about how to do certain aspects of my job, which has required me to seek out training resources outside of my comfort zone. So kind of what's been going on for me is what I learned was that even though it was kind of outside of my comfort zone and I was like, okay, I guess I have to do this, what I'm finding out is that there's actually a bunch of things that I can utilize to be able to feel more confident in my work. And that's really, with that Capricorn Cancer opposition as well, that kind of emphasizes that work, home, comfort, structure, discipline, nurturing care, those things. But I have my North Node in Capricorn and my South Node in Cancer. So that's really been something that I've been working on, for my entire adult life. It's like, okay, what's a balance that I can have between these two things? So this time period has really been helping me with that. But what you are going to want to look at is what house Cancer is in for you. And if you don't know how to figure that out, just figure out what your birth time is. It should be on your birth certificate. And go find you a free chart. I recommend going to astroseek.com. I like their charts the best. I have one of their charts right here in front of me. And figure out where Cancer is in. Because this is, and remember, a new moon is a new start. It is a new initiation point. It is the planting of the seed that you intend to see grow, that you intend to take action on. This is you committing to a new idea. So when we're committing to a new idea in Cancer, we are committing to emotional safety, comfortability, family, siblings is kind of third house, freaking Gemini stuff too, but I would consider like anything going on in your household, whoever you live with, stuff like that is going to be important to think about. What your desires are, Venus around this area of your life, around things that, one second. Sorry, I wanted to know what that blasting noise was outside. And there's like a huge semi-truck out my window, so that's kind of cool. Maybe that's a sign, that's so Cancer Capricorn, to be honest with you. But, yeah, I don't know. There's something weird going on. Okay. So, one second. Let me very quickly take a gander at what the heck I just wrote. Yeah, so remember that Venus has to do with value. Venus rules Taurus, values. So like, what about our emotional world, our emotional comfortability, safety and security? And really, Venus being in Cancer for this whole time that it's been there has kind of been bringing stuff up like that. If you are in a relationship, like a long-term relationship, something has likely happened in the last couple of weeks where you've been like, okay, does this person help me to feel safe and secure? Does this person emotionally understand me? Or does this person understand my emotional values? Do I understand my partner's emotional values? Questions like that have probably been coming up. And I think that at this point, we are coming to a moment where it's like, okay, let's have an idea of what we want to, what do we want to plant and grow, basically. I think you get the picture. Sorry, I'm so horrible at articulating myself. You guys are just gonna have to bear with me on it, okay? I just don't have the patience to edit this video, alright? I have limited time in my life, so you guys are just gonna have to put me on in the background, or don't. I could not care less, actually, but I'm still doing it for you. Well, I mean, that kind of contradicts what I was saying earlier, but I'm doing it for whoever resonates with my stupid crap and wants to hear my voice yammer on at them about the wonder and the beauty of this journey that we're all on, that we're learning to battle and fight for our immortal souls. So I don't know what to tell you. So anyway, speaking of Venus, you may have noticed while I've been yammering on this square right here to Chiron, and people all over the internet are not understanding what Chiron is doing here. And it's making me a little upset. Alright? Chiron is dealing with our self-Aries, our self-wounding problem, our self-worth problem, our problem of like, what am I worth to the world? What is the point? What am I doing here? Well, now this is coming into like a frustrating sort of confliction point here with this aspect of our emotional world where we're desiring some level of safety. So sorry, I'm reading my notes. Yeah, so we have to learn from that work-life balance that we've been trying to figure out. Because that's just the way that it is. Yeah. What is my time worth also is going to be a whole thing. You can see a better articulated way of this if you just try out my Patreon, where my blog posts are at. Okay, next we're going to talk about this Mars in Taurus, which I talked to you guys at length about what Mars in Taurus is doing. And everybody keeps forgetting about this that I've been watching. Everybody's just been glazing over this Mars in Taurus because they're like, oh, Mars sucks in Taurus. It's like, okay, well, I don't care if it sucks in Taurus. What is it saying? What is the mood? What is the vibe of Mars in Taurus? It is slow, determined, intentional. Like, we are taking this action. We are walking step by step. We are doing it. And you know what else we're doing? We are enjoying it as we're doing it, because Taurus is ruled by Venus. Mars is in Venus's house. And that kind of makes me think about this Sabian symbol up here, which is a bunch of people enjoying like eating like a bountiful banquet feast or whatever, and they overate a little bit, but they don't care. They're happy about it. And I think that that's honestly perfect for these two placements. They're still kind of sort of in sextile, they're kind of coming off this exact sextile because Venus is going faster right now, I believe. And yeah, so it's like kind of a weird push and pull overall energy. It's like, hey, come on, you got to keep working, you got to keep working, you got to keep doing all this crap, you got to keep blah blah blah, you got to keep waking up every day and doing your daily routine. You got to get up and you got to do blah blah blah. So it's that energy going on, but in the background, there's also this sense of like, let me really stop to like savor this sip of coffee. Let me stop to like enjoy this moment of relaxation at home with my family and we're eating dinner. Or let me really enjoy like my like shower that I'm taking, like, before I go to bed or something like that. Because I don't know about you, but a nighttime shower is way more relaxing than a morning shower. So that's the vibe that I'm getting off of that one. And that helped me to describe the Sabian symbol as well. So, and the Sabian symbol is for the degree of the new moon, just so you know. It's for this 14 degrees. Or it really is between 14 and 15. So it's like this seed that we're planting This intention that we're setting for the next month, and kind of sort of for the next 6 months, and kind of sort of for the next 2 weeks, has to do with stopping to enjoy. So we need to leverage what's going on with this Mars and Taurus. And we need to understand what has been happening with Mars and Taurus for this whole time that it's been there. I think that people are trying to solve problems and act in ways where they're like, oh, well, you know, Mars is in Taurus, so I don't really feel like it. I don't think that that's the energy that's going on here, especially because Mars is going to conjunct Uranus pretty soon. You think this is going to be a whole lot of nothing when Mars conjuncts Uranus? No. That's huge energy. That's kind of violent energy. That's like, maybe it's kind of slow, weird, violent energy. Maybe it's a weird, slow buildup. But whenever this conjunction happens, something is going to go on in the greater world. And if you've got stuff going on over here, at 25, 26 degrees of Taurus, then I would be on the lookout for maybe like this flash of insight, as like the best case scenario. These guys are already within orb of conjunction. You see this red line? Orb of conjunction. But we're not talking about that. What we're talking about next is this Mars and Taurus and how it is making this exact sextile to our retrograde Saturn. And Saturn is retrograde as of today. And I made a post on my Instagram about this, but what's going on with Saturn retrograde is that it's going to go all the way back to 12 degrees over the next July, August, September, October, November, 5 months or so. And what's going to go on is that we are going to be asked some questions by the things in our life that are structural about how well we've learned to spiritually discipline ourselves. And I think that people kind of get Pisces confused with the other two water signs. Because I'm a big fan of K. Pacha over there at New Paradigm Astrology. He's the reason why I even know about Sabian symbols and why I like them so much. So shout out to K. Pacha. Love that guy. But he talks about how Pisces is more than just a water sign. It's the ether. It's like it's cosmic consciousness. You know what I mean? It's more than just like, oh yeah, well it's dreamy. I hate when people use the word dreamy over and over again for Pisces. What does that mean? What does dreamy mean? Define a dream. I think that people always get that wrong, and they use these catch-all words like dreamy, and they don't understand what that means. Pisces, you know what else Pisces is? Illusions and deception. I learned from the Leo King. Shout out to the Leo King, another one of my all-time favorite astrologers. That this Neptune and Pisces transit has been all about deception, and all about illusions, and all about smoke and mirrors, and all about people trying to convince other people that stuff is true when it's fake. So we're going to be asked during the Saturn retrograde in this middle section of Pisces, where Neptune already went through. I'm pretty sure that Mercury retrograde that we happened at the beginning of 2020 likely lines up with some of these degrees. We're going to be asked some questions about how much we have grown. And we're going to have to answer them. Especially if something lines up, if you've got planets here in this section of Pisces, or if you've got planets here in Capricorn that are going to be squaring it in the middle of Capricorn, or in the middle of, or just kidding, I'm an idiot, in the middle of, sorry, they don't pay me the big bucks to do math. That's a square. It's 1, 2, 3, 1, it's 3 of those. So Right? So it's 3 of those, not 2. All right. So don't mind me. I'm a silly goose. If you've got anything over here in Virgo, if you got anything over here in Gemini, this Saturn is going to be making some aspects to your chart that is probably going to cause you to maybe have some kind of a problem. Like an annoying problem that's going to be testing how much you have learned about how to discipline yourself and how to create structures in your life that can withstand the test of time. So just be prepared for that. And I would say, like, before stuff starts going wrong, go ahead, make those appointments that you need to make to get some things taken care of. Anticipate what things could potentially go wrong and be proactive. Because we are going to have, during this new moon on July 5th, which is next Friday, we are going to have, this sextile. And sextiles are opportunities. It is going to be an opportunity for us to take action on things that this Saturn is going to bring up. And if you want to do something that Saturn is, the luck of the Saturn Irish is going to smile upon you, what I recommend is to go ahead and do it. Even if, you're like, I don't know, I'm just going to put it off. Because what's going to happen is you're going to put it off, and then the second Capricorn full moon is going to come around, and then you're going to be like, oh, I should have done that thing, now it's turned into a problem. Mark my words. I guarantee that's what's going to happen. And then if you watch this and you have any sort of understanding about what any of this means, you'll see the writing on the wall. That's one of the great things about astrology. It's the energetic weather. It's going to tell you when you need a rain jacket, spiritually, It's going to tell you when you need some spiritual sunglasses on. You know what I'm talking about? It's going to tell you pretty plainly, in my opinion, as long as you kind of understand the basics of what this stuff means, it will tell you, when and how to take action in certain areas of your life. And that depends on what your houses are the areas of your life. So let's see, what else do we need to speak about here? I did want to mention that Mercury is going to be in Leo. So we've got some fire energy back in the chart. That isn't just Chiron and the North Node, which are kind of they're not personal planets. We have a personal planet back in a fire sign. So this is going to be quicker communications. This is going to be more dramatic communications with Leo, more performative communications with Leo. Stuff is probably going to happen where the news is going to feel a lot more charismatic and sensationalized during this time, especially because Mercury's going to oppose Pluto before it gets to this point. Actually, I don't know. I couldn't tell you exactly where it is right now. I just looked up this chart. I'm busy, okay? You can look it up for yourself. But if it's not opposing Pluto now, then it's going to. I think Mercury's probably moving pretty fast at this point. Mercury isn't making any super crazy exact aspects. It'll sextile Jupiter slightly after this new moon, a few days or whatever. As far as I know, Mercury's moving pretty fast. Jupiter is making some good aspects to the nodes, and I wrote something in my notes about how I wrote something in there about Jupiter. I can't freaking find it because I can't read straight. But here's what's happening. Is that so right after the new moon happens, Jupiter is going to come over here to 10 degrees, and it's going to make this sextile to the North Node, and then it's going to make this trine to the South Node. And we could talk about Lilith too, I guess. I didn't put that one in my notes, but we'll do that in a second. But Jupiter is going to be supporting this North Node lesson. It's going to be giving us an opportunity to expand this idea of, how can I do Aries stuff in my world? And how can I grow in an Aries way? How can I stand up for myself and the people that I care about? How can I initiate things? How can I start things that I want to do? How can I do stuff, even in the face of whatever sorts of adversity that might be in front of me? That's all Aries stuff. How can I be creative in a way that is trailblazing? How can I be a leader? So Jupiter in Gemini is going to start supporting that. Well, it will be by the time that this full moon is happening. Probably already is now. Also, that energy is going to come exact right after the new moon. So we're going to be thinking about what we need as far as home, comfort, what are our non-negotiable values. We're going to be thinking about, okay, what actions do I need to take to make sure that everything in my life is structurally sound and spiritually disciplined. And we're going to have this opportunity to expand in the ways that we want to expand as far as what's Jupiter and Gemini been doing? Growing our immediate circle of friends and acquaintances. Depending on where Gemini is in your chart, that could be business related. That could be school related. Expanding generally our knowledge about things. We're learning about things. And that's going to be supporting this Libra, Aries, North Node, South Node situation that we've been going through, that's been teaching us that weird toxic old relationship patterns are not going to cut it anymore. And you got to look out for number one. Unless somebody in your life has proven to you that they're here to support you, which you probably learned in the last couple of weeks. Okay, let's see what else we got going on. Yeah, so Lilith is with the South Node, opposing the North Node also. And to me, that's suggesting that some kind of weird, because if Lilith is in cahoots with the South Node, then what's going to be going on is that there's probably going to be a sense of resistance in some people with letting go of this need for, what are some shadow aspects of Libra? Seeking external validation. Feeling like everybody around you has to support the things that you're doing for you to feel comfortable, or, like you're doing the right thing, or, generally people pleasing at the expense of your own peace. Stuff like that is going to be, there's going to be some resistance to growth. There's going to be maybe a feeling within some of us where we're like, oh, cute, this is going to be at 11:11. LOL. So... So there's going to be some sort of rebellious, I don't want to do that. You can't make me blah, 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 But I don't think that's going to be found, in, what am I trying to say? I don't think that that's a sound, realistic way to be looking at this. And I think that the Black Moon Lilith conjunction here is not necessarily doing anything as far as oh, guys, it's Lilith. Isn't Lilith just the tearing down the patriarchy, blah, blah, blah. I think that in this aspect, and yes, I mean, sure, Lilith is doing that, but I think that what's going on with this, because it's conjunct the South Node, which is what we're supposed to be releasing, which we're supposed to be identifying and removing the shadow aspects of, I think that where you see Black Moon Lilith energy during this new moon, that's when you need to be that's it. That's the indicator that that's what I need to let go of. So keep that in mind too. I think that that's important. I forgot to put that one in my notes, but I think that that's going to be important. I haven't seen anybody mention that. So just keep that in mind. I think that we've pretty much covered all of the placements and the notable aspects of what's going on here. Let me just take one final gander through what I've written. I appreciate your patience if you've made it this far in my yammering on and unhinged rambling, but I think that this is important information, and my God, does every other astrologer just like drag their feet through getting to this information. Like, come on. Like you know who I'm trying to talk to? You know my audience that I'm trying to talk to? Hello, people out there who like resonate with who I am and my content. Here's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to lead you guys to the practical, here's what to do when this happens. Here's what to do when this happens. Here's what to do when that happens. And I've always wanted to do that because I think that this stuff can be, a science. I think that this can be a roadmap, And I think that it's important to be aware of these things so you're not surprised or blindsided when things come up. So there's me just like going off again. Sorry. I think the moon is in Aries or something. So I'm a little crazy right now because the moon's in my sign. But okay. Let's see here. Yeah, the best thing here's a little preview for my beautifully written notes. The best thing you can do for yourself right now, leading up to this new moon, is take stock of the things in your life that are going well, and take a stock of the things that aren't, and be honest with yourself. Dealing with things that involve a lot of unknowns doesn't have to be so anxiety-inducing. We are at a place, as a collective, where we are learning to take charge of our emotional world in ways that we weren't able to do before. We are growing at an alarming rate. Things are happening at a crazy rate. We're stepping into, if you've been paying attention, you've seen the writing on the wall, and you're stepping into, things that you've wanted to do for a long time. You are taking action on things, if you're in alignment, if you're still cowering and hiding away from the stuff that you want to be doing in your life, and also with this new moon, if you're not allowing yourself to enjoy the things that you already have and like have a sense of gratitude with like the people who are in your immediate environment, Jupiter and Gemini, then you're probably way off track. And I think that you should probably start with the positive things in your life, because all strength and in your life, gratitude is a beautiful seed of truth for that, because it shows you where you're at, and being grateful, people will tell you all the time, oh yeah, well, if you have an attitude of gratitude, like it'll change your whole life, blah, blah, blah. It actually will. I'm telling you, it will. And what it does is it injects a positive vibration into whatever it is that you're doing, which transmutes and dissolves the weird bad feelings that creep up, because over time our ego develops these defense mechanisms of like, oh, I'm not allowed to enjoy that. Oh, that's not good enough for me. And we forget how to enjoy life, and we forget how to love life as it currently is. And we're always looking for, oh, well, what do I need? What do I want? And, you can't actually obtain anything of value that way. And every other spiritual teacher and guru will tell you that the more that you keep seeking outside of yourself, for happiness and contentment, the less you're going to find it. And the longer you're going to be looking, So that's just a little additional piece of wisdom. But I think that that's important during this time. We have to remember to be grateful. And okay, here's a little more of my notes. Use this new moon to conjure that strength. What did I say? What is your mission? What is your intention? And how can you grow this intention from this seed idea that you're going to be planting in the comfort of your home with all of your crystals and candles, giving you strength and determination to know that no matter what happens, when you walk out the door every day, you always have this core safe home within yourself. The home within is a card in my my deck that I'm making. It's a very important concept that took me a very long time to learn about. What does it mean that when your home is within? Because so many people have this feeling, they go through their lives with this feeling of, oh, I feel like I don't belong here. I feel like, I was born on the wrong planet, or in the wrong time period, or in the wrong family, or I was born at, I wasn't supposed to be human. And what that feeling is coming from is this lack of a sense of grounding and security within who you are. Because you have to remember that we are all one. This is a Pisces concept also. We are all one eternal being. And our separate expressions are all just fractals of this one energy. And the more that you remember that, and the more you take a step back and look at things from a higher perspective, the more you're gonna understand that that's the truth. And then you're gonna be able to detach a little bit from this feeling of, oh, what about me, I don't belong. Yes, you do belong. We all belong. And anything else is really just an illusion, Pisces. Use this new moon to conjure that strength, because you will need it moving forward. We are at a place as a collective where we are learning to make our emotional and mental worlds work for us spiritually. Discipline is the key to freedom. Yes, this is kind of what I wanted to close on, and this is what this Saturn retrograde is going to be talking about, or showing us rather, talking about. I mean, I guess, energetically talking about, but, we all need to realize this, and we need to use this sextile with Mars and Saturn to take intentional, methodical, determined action. Makes me think of the Knight of Pentacles every time I think of Mars and Taurus. You will know when you see some sign that there is something you're avoiding. Saturn is going to say, now is the time to take care of that, so it's not weighing on you anymore. Saturn is taking us back through this section of Pisces to give us a better understanding of how we have spiritually grown. Remember that Pisces is the ether element, the connectedness that we all have with each other as one eternal being. We are learning these lessons together, but that doesn't mean that we forget this process of healing the toxic self-worth issues that have been plaguing us and keeping us from taking the actions we need to grow and heal ourselves and each other. All of this discomfort and weirdness has a purpose. So I think I'm going to leave it there. I reiterated a couple of concepts a couple of times, I think, but it is what it is. So I'm just going to go over it one more time, just so you guys know, like, the very specific things, just to kind of help you figure out what to set your intentions about. Remember that we are thinking about comfort and joy. We are thinking about gratitude and thinking about how we want to expand our ways of learning. We are identifying and taking action regarding things that Saturn is going to be bringing up for us, and we probably already know what some of that is. So we're not going to get blindsided by any of this. And we're coming at these things that could be a little bit difficult from a place of, okay, yeah, I understand that, like, my comfort and joy is within. I have connections in my life that are helping me to feel pretty jovial, pretty happy with myself, pretty happy with the world around me. I'm communicating in a way that is a little more direct now than maybe during this, when Mercury was over here in the moon's house. Now Mercury is in the sun's house. So we're being a little more direct. So that's going to help us to be able to communicate what we need. We are dealing with these kind of aspects of self-worth, pain, and frustration. But again, the intentions that we are setting are going to be helping us to resolve this issue or to otherwise heal it. And we're processing more about this Aries Libra sort of conflict between the inner and the outer. It's conflict between the self and the other. We are letting go of relationship patterns and things that we thought we needed out of relationships. And we are having more faith in ourselves, really. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna get out of here now. I appreciate you listening to my rambling, and I will see you guys whenever I can get a second to record another video about the dang old the second full moon. All right. Well, I'll see you guys then. Adios.